Hey guys, StockHauler with My Tribe Trading, and today we're going to get right into it. If you go to the scoreboard, let me see, what am I doing here? Okay. On the Discord, open it up, scoreboard channel right here, open it up. We had 3 strategy runners this last week, PCSA, ONCO, and CRBP. So we're going to jump right into the first one. Obviously, we would have been watching our brokerage top gainers. This one was climbing the list. It went to number 1. First thing we're going to do is see if it was a virgin. This stock is kind of unique. I'm looking at the hourly here, so let's go to the daily. Again, it's been selling awesome. No massive runs. This right here, on this date of the big run, virgins aren't always crystal clear, but DI's made a point that if it hasn't had a run in the last 60 days from to 100%, then it's a virgin. But the reason why this one was added potentially to the list is because of what happened the day of the big run. Right here, it had a 1 for 20 reverse split. So for all of you that don't know what a reverse split is, whoever was in the stock, if say they had 20 shares one day, and then they did the reverse split, and the next day that same person would have 1 share. And let's say that the day before their 20 shares were worth this much money, the next day they had 1 share that equaled the same amount of money. But then of course the next day the stock could go up or down. And anyways, I'm assuming that's why DI put this on the list. But personally, I don't think it should have made it to the scoreboard. So maybe he can chime in and clarify why he thought it made it to the scoreboard. And again, my guess is the reverse split thing, because a lot of times, see what happens when reverse splits happen, a lot of people before it happens get out. That includes shorts, long positions, all the other players, and then they'll buy back in afterwards. So in a way, it's kind of like an automatic virgin as soon as it splits. But there's this gray area that kind of leaves it questionable. So to the day of the run, looks like it started running pre-market and the market open, and then it traded sideways during the day, and then it launched after hours. So that's the 1 hour chart. Let's go to the 5-minute. And the first thing we do as we watch a top gainer climbing the top gainer list to the number 1 position is what? If you had been watching it pre-market, let's switch the right-hand side on my trading view to percent. And now we can draw our 100% line. See it right here? So I'm going to go ahead and throw a line on the chart right at 100%. Why do we do that? Because this is the 100% and beyond strategy. So would you have touched it from here to here? No. It does not become a strategy play until it gets there, right? And so that first time that it ran, looks like it went from 100% to 156%. All right. So you would enter right here at 100 and exit at the Tilson, where the Tilson changed from green to red. All right. And then later in the day, it ran again. And obviously, it broke 100% again a couple times, and then it had an amazing launch after hours. So that is PCSA. And that's how you play a virgin ticker. Now, it could have also become a top gainer. It went over 100%. While it may have not been an ideal 100% play, you could scalp it. Scalp on buy on the green, sell when it hits red. Down here, because it's trading sideways so much, you probably wouldn't even want to touch it in there. And then waiting into after hours when it made its really massive move. Let me look at the float on this. Oh, okay. PCSA, the float was just under 1 million shares. So that's why it was not, the shorts were not able to kill it completely. Somebody came in right here in after hours and really moved it up. Don't know what the news was, doesn't matter. But there's another 100% and beyond strategy here, even though it's technically no longer a virgin after that first run, right? So tread lightly, softly thereafter. But there's definitely an entry on the 100 and the bounce is over 100. And you could have exited here, come down here, played it again, bought green. And again, like I said, afterward, you're scalping. It's not longer a long hold strategy. So there's that one. Let's bring up the next one. The next one was ONCO. Again, the same thing. Oh, and by the way, that PCSA ran at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So it's in the prime window. The number or data has crunched over the time. So ONCO, let's look up that one, shall we? So again, it would have been a ticker that was climbing the ranks on the top gainer list. You would check it out, look it up. Let's go to the daily. Oh yeah, this thing's a virgin 100%. I mean, this is all the way back to June, so it's just dead all the way until it had this massive run. So it was a safe, definitely a guaranteed virgin. All right, so let's now get the chart ready. Now that we've determined it's a virgin, we're gonna zoom in on the 5-minute. And what do we do first? We are going to, this is pre-market, okay? So we're gonna go get our line. Guys, just do this every single time. Once you see a top gainer climbing the ranks, go in there and throw a 100% line on it. Because it's probably going to be in here, because it's climbing up and you're like, oh, this is interesting. So you're getting in, you're paying attention to it before that, and you already have made your entry. That's a huge thing. One of the hardest things in trading is knowing when to enter, knowing when to sell, right? There's some magic thing happens at 100%. And it's like when the algorithms and the FOMO, just the perfect culmination and storm, everything comes together and you just have this massive blow past 100%, right? So we can enter here. At 100%. And we can exit where? When the Tilson goes to red. Right here. So the top of this candle, when the Tilson goes to red, is this one right here, actually. Because here's the thing, if you look at this, do you see where it turns red? It's up here. The top of the candle is actually down here. So you have to have a specific exit. So you can tweak the rules a little bit here as far as when you're going to exit. And DI says stuff like, if you feel like you've made enough money, get out. It's over, move on to the next trade. So let's see what the gain there would have been, about 55%. So you first enter here, exit there, and then it becomes a scalp play after that. Okay, so that is ONCO, 60% interest or return on investment. Let's go to the next one. And again, was it a virgin ticker? What was the launch price? Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Well, let's just look at it here. The launch price average is $3 on dollar stocks. So that first one that we looked at its average was, it looks like he didn't even write it down, PCSA. He did write down the flow, which was about 1 million. This next one that we're gonna look at, CRBP, pennies don't matter as much as far as what the price was at, because everybody can afford them. So this one actually was a pretty high dollar. It looks like the average lot price when it launched on CRBP was $8. And again, you have to look up the float. Was it under 1 million? Looks like it was at 4 million float. I think that one was like actually 4.5. He might have rounded down. Probably was rounding because if it's below 4.5, he would have rounded down. If it's above 4.5, he would have rounded to 5. I don't think he's putting decimals. Let's see. Yeah, no decimal. Oh yeah, that's the launch price. The float, he's rounding probably to help the data stay consistent and accurate. So CRBP, let's look that one up. CRBP. And I'm not even going to delve into the news because who cares? The news doesn't matter. All we care about is all we care about, because sometimes they don't have news, right? But it goes to a top gainer position. It stays up there. It maintains. You can enter. You can exit. The float. All of that. Did I not put it in? CRBP. P. Why is my chart being weird? Maybe I'm putting the wrong one. Hold on a second. CRBP. Trading views using frozen. Let me CRBP. Oh, there we go. Okay, so first things first, let's see if it was a virgin. This is the daily. Geez, it was a virgin. Look at this. It was like the end of January and it's flat all the way back to who knows when. So this is beautiful. Now I'm gonna look at what the CRBP float was on it. Oh, 4.4. So yeah, that's why I made it 4 million. Okay, so now let's switch it to the 5 hour, or sorry, 5 minute. And it started, geez, that's a beautiful move. Look at that pre-market move. Explosive. And let's look at see the difference here. Do you see the other ones that were kind of like, eh? This one was obvious. So when you see a top gainer and you look at it and see that it's a virgin and it goes for months flatlining, be ready for a potentially explosive move. So let's do our thing. Let's go ahead and throw 100% line on there because this thing's bursting at the seams as a top gainer. And look at this on the 5 minute, the Tilson stayed green from 8 a.m. all the way to 10:50. Almost 3 hours. It didn't change. So hold on the 5 minute. Your entry is right there on the 100% line. This is a perfect example of our strategy when it's a beautifully, I'm telling you, the more virgin the stock is, the more potentially explosive it is because it catches everybody unawares. And so there's your entry, there's your exit. Let's see what the potential percentage gain was. 100, if you had injured at 100% and held it, look at that, 296%, even after a pullback. Because see, actually, you'd probably pull it back here to the top of this candle, because you're not always going to nail it. You know, you might have sold it here at the bottom of the candle. I'm not sure exactly when that Tilson turned red. Doesn't matter. Wherever it was in here, once it turns red, boom, I'm out. So I'm just putting it at the top of that candle. Let's say that's when it turned red, you sold, you're out, then the sell-off took place, and then afterward you can scalp it. It's no longer 100% beyond trade. But the potential there was 179% on your money. You know, and sometimes I've talked to guys and they're like, nah, you're cherry picking. Well, that's why we're doing what we're doing with these videos on instant replay. We're going to look at them and we're just the realization on these three. I realized this was the most virgin of the three stocks and it had the most amazing explosive move. 4 million. The other ones because it was the reverse split and then the next one was it looked like it was 68 days out. But it wasn't flatline, it was just selling down. When they're trading sideways, it means the stock is dead. So something came along, made this stock take off, and kaboom, in the money. Wait for these plays. Wait for the best setups. You're not going to regret it. And another thing we can talk about is avoiding head fakes. And if you want to, because sometimes the stock will run up to 100% and you'll get in thinking, oh, it's at 100%, I can get in. And then and then it sells off, it never comes back. And you're like, oh man, I'm selling for a loss. Well, if that ever happens to you, there's a few things that you could well, you're going to first have to go back and see, was it a virgin? Was it the right time of day? What was the float? Did all the criteria add up with the scoreboard criteria? And what I mean by that is, was it a virgin? Was the stock dollar average around $3 when it started? Was the float, if it's a penny, around 15 million? If it was a dollar, was it around 4 million? That's the average. If it was too high, too low, all of these come into analysis. You've got to consider that. All right. That's all I've got for instant replay today. And so let's look forward to an awesome week next week, and we'll do it all again, shall we? Until next time, adios.